Hi folks, how's it all going? Hope you had a great weekend. Just going to do a short video and a roundup of the PDC Grand Slam of Darts that's just finished at the Civic Hall in Wolverhampton. Now, yes, I know Michael van Gerwen has won another PDC major televised tournament, whatever you want to call them. I know there's been some debate on social media of late, what is a major, what isn't a major, but that's for another day. But since he lost to Raymond van Barneveld in the World Championships, he currently holds every PDC televised ranking title, which is a phenomenal achievement. But I'm not going to talk about Michael too much because we've done that loads of late. I want to talk about some of the other unsung heroes that have come out of the Grand Slam, because it was an absolute fantastic tournament, I have to say. The ones that stood out for me across the week, obviously James Wade had a fantastic tournament, getting to the final, played really, really well, and he seems to be peaking and timing his form really well for Ali Pali, which is just under a month away, so the machine will be a danger. Of course, Gary Anderson got to the semi-final, playing with his glasses and new darts, so the world champion is looking in good form. Still needs a little bit of fine-tuning here and there, but he looks dangerous. Peter Wright beat Phil Taylor to get to the semi-final, played Michael in the semi-final, averaged I think about 103, and in fairness didn't get close to Michael because he averaged nearly 112, but that's what happens when you play the great man at the moment. From the other side, from the other code, the BDO, at the start when the draw was done, not many gave them a chance, in fairness, but we had the BDO top 8 players for the first time, I think, since the tournament started, that it's worked out that we actually have their top 8 players, and all of them acquitted themselves amazingly, I have to say. 5 of the 8 got through their groups to the knockout stages, where at the start of the tournament, I don't think many gave them that much of a chance, if I'm being honest. For me, the standout BDO player was their world number 1 in Glenn Durant, who was nothing short of sensational. He was drawn in a tough group against the PDC world champion Gary Anderson, and that was his first game. Now, he pushed the PDC world champion every stretch of the way. It went with throw, not one break, and Gary won the match 5-4. But then Glenn went on to win his next 2 to qualify for the knockout stages. In the knockout stages, he played Raymond van Barneveld, who's had a little bit of a renaissance of late. The Dutchman seems to be finding his form again, but Glenn pushed the 5 times champion of the world to the limit, and I've never seen someone looked so relieved to get off stage as what Raymond did at the end of the game. Raymond beat Glenn 10-7, but Glenn came out of the tournament with so much credit, it's unreal. Now, there's a lot of speculation that he's going to make the switch across to the PDC after Lakeside. I hope he does. I think he'll be an excellent acquisition for the PDC. It's tough to come across because you start with nothing. However, for me, he's a top 16 PDC player without any question. Arguably top 10, but it's tough to get in the PDC top 10, so you need a little bit of luck. But without question, Glenn can do that. There was also Danny Nopper, who was amazing, I have to say. In his last 16 game against Gary Anderson, at one point, the huge upset was on the cards, as Nopper was averaging around about 75% on his doubles, which was unbelievable, I have to say. So again, Danny Nopper is one to watch, and if he decides to come over, I think he could do very, very well as well. So Scott Mitchell was a little bit disappointing. He didn't get out of the group. He was one that I had quite high hopes for at the start, but just didn't quite happen for him. Great to see Daryl Fitton getting through. Again, he wasn't in the toughest of groups, but he did enough to get through, which was great for him. Now, after this, the rankings are now taking shape, and there was 1 or 2 notable movers, 1 up, 1 down. Adrian Lewis is now dropped out of the top 4 in the world, and Peter Wright is now the world number 3. So Michael is number 1, Gary number 2, Peter number 3, and Phil Taylor is now number 4, which has consequences for further draws, especially the Worlds. Now, if the seeds go through the group or the tournament as you think they should, the semi-final lineup will now be Phil against Michael, which is the dream tie for everyone. And Peter Wright will play Gary Anderson if it all goes according to plan. Now, a lot of people have tipped Peter Wright to win a TV major. He seems to have found a set of darts that he likes and he's sticking with, and that's noticeable because he did play brilliantly in the Grand Slam. So he now misses Michael in the semi-final stages. I don't know if that has a huge benefit for some players. I know some look at draws and some don't. But that was the huge mover and shakers from there. So just touching on the final day's play of the Grand Slam. We started with the 2 semi-finals. Michael averaged nearly 112 in beating Peter Wright in a phenomenal game. Michael was sensational. 17 180s he hit, which was obscene. The second semi-final had so much drama. It was unreal. Now, the bookies gave James Wade a little chance against Gary Anderson, but James is the one player that you cannot take any notice of stats when it comes to James Wade playing darts, because he's the only player I know that just finds a way to win a match no matter what. And he did that. At one point, I think he was nearly 10 points behind Gary Anderson in the averages, but was 2 legs in front. He took out big checkouts at big times. Especially there was a notable 147 checkout with Gary sat on a double to hold throw, and like James does, he took it out as clean as a whistle. He beat James went on to beat Gary 16-14 in a great game, I have to say. The final, James had his chances, but he missed a few doubles here and there, and Michael took advantage, like Michael does, to lift another one. But great tournament from James Wade. Played really well. I say Michael's won another one. Now, moving ahead, this weekend is the start of the Players' Championships, which is almost the final preparations for the players before the Worlds. So it will be interesting to see in what happens down in Minehead. One really sad note about the Players' Championships is Australian Kyle Anderson has had to pull out because of problems getting his visa sorted, which is a whole other story. I'm sure you've seen it on social media. I'm sure Kyle is absolutely gutted. I hope if you watch this, Kyle, big thumbs up. Keep your chin up, mate. We're all thinking of you. Fingers crossed it's all sorted for the Worlds. I hope so, buddy, because you've had an absolute amazing year this year and would have been a huge threat to people. So fingers crossed it's all right. So, guys, that's my roundup of the World's Grand Slam of Darts. Please give me a thumbs up if you like my channel. Please subscribe. I was going to say, if you like what we're doing, just leave us a comment, and we're happy to answer anything. Follow me on Twitter @PhilBars. Again, tweet me any questions. Happily answer them for you. So, guys, that's enough for me tonight. Hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you all again soon. Cheers, guys.